So Databricks released Omnigent around like 2 weeks ago, actually just a bit before the Data and AI Summit. And if you haven't got the chance to try out Omnigent yet, this video is for you. Because today we will unpack all the core features Omnigent has. So hopefully you will like it. So if you haven't heard about Omnigent yet, you're probably thinking, what is Omnigent exactly? Omnigent is actually a meta harness, which means it's actually a layer on top of other harnesses, like for example, Claude, Codex, and so on. It actually allows you to work with these different harnesses from one single interface. Because mostly, if you don't build something yourself around these harnesses, you often find yourself having multiple windows up for different harnesses, and you maybe copy from one harness to the other. But with Omnigent, you actually have one interface to work with these different harnesses. There are many more features in Omnigent, which we will dive into later. Before we dive into the features, I actually first wanted to show you how the architecture of Omnigent look like. And then afterwards we can dive into the features. This is a visual which I took from the Omnigent docs. So here you see actually three important components: the server, the runner, and then actually the UI, how you can interact with Omnigent. So the server is actually some kind of the brain of Omnigent, which for example contains session history, but also the MCPs and skills with which the agents can interact. And then next to it, you have the runner, in which the agents are being run. It's in a sandbox environment that these agents are being run. And by default, it's configured to run locally, but you can also configure a cloud sandbox. And then there's actually quite a lot of different UIs. How you can interact with Omnigent, for example, via terminal UI, the web UI, but also via a native app or even a mobile UI. So now I've shown the high-level architecture overview, and next we can actually dive into how to set up Omnigent and also the different features of it. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but for this video, I especially wear this t-shirt, so we're totally ready to get started. So let's now install Omnigent. I'm gonna show you first how to install Omnigent with UV. So you can do that with the command I have here already on screen with the UV tool install. And let's run that. So now to actually set up the different harnesses, you can run Omni setup, and you can install the different harnesses of your preference. You see also that there's quite some harnesses that you can configure. I already configured Claude and Codex, but you can choose any of the harnesses listed here. Since the 0.3 release from yesterday, multiple harnesses were added. All these harnesses from Quen and onwards were added. So you see that actually quite fast, quite a lot of harnesses are being added, which is quite cool to see. So let's now start up Omnigent. So if I'm gonna run Omni, it actually will launch, and we will see that our web UI will launch. So here you actually see the different sessions that already have been run. You can even group the sessions also since it's 0.3 to a project, which is also quite nice. And here you can actually see the files which are in the working folder, the agents we have access to, and then also the shell. If you open the file here, you can even get a rendering of that file. So when we start here now in this session, you will actually see that you can choose the different harnesses you want to run with, and also like the different models with that harness. And next to that, you also have out of the box agents. And for now, there are two out of the box agents, Polly and Debbie. And yeah, Polly is actually some kind of orchestrator agent, which lets you plan tasks, and it will then give these tasks to sub agents. And Debbie, on the other hand, lets you actually debate a particular topic with two different harnesses. You can also now, also from the 0.3 release, create a custom agent even via the web UI. Okay, so now I actually wanted to demonstrate what Polly can do. So now imagine that we already came up with a plan together with Polly to do some text analysis. So the first task is to do line counting. The second one is for word frequency analyzer, and the third one is for checking out the character statistics. And I will now ask it to implement the plan, and we will see what happens then. Okay, we're actually seeing that Polly is creating a work tree for each of these different tasks. And let's see now if also the agents come up here. So here it shows that all three implementation tasks are being dispatched and run in isolated work trees. So now we will wait for it to be done. So now we actually also see there are like three different pull requests already. So the pull request number 2 was already earlier in the thread. And then we also see that there's also our review starting with codecs, so with another harness. And you can see, for example, here that it implemented word frequency with the codecs harness, but it then uses a different harness for the review, and the other way around for the other two implementations. So maybe actually to clarify, my plan was just to implement these three things, and I didn't say anything about which sub-agent it had to spawn. It just came up with that by itself via actually the agent definition of Polly itself. Now we can actually see that all three tasks are complete and also reviewed. And they are ready to merge. So there's even like a pull request for each of these, which I can view and also check if I like them or not, or if there's more work needed. Okay, so then finally I still want to show you like 3 cool features. One of the cool features is that you can actually add policies to control your agents. There's a lot of different policies, but for example, you can add a policy for the max cost. For example, if I add now the max cost to 2.5, and you see we already have like a session cost of $3. Can you improve the word frequency count implementation? You see it actually didn't do anything. But if I now remove this one, can you improve the word frequency count? Then it works. Okay, another cool thing is that you can actually fork from here, and you can actually, for example, choose another agent to work with. For example, if you worked already with Claude Code, but then you want to switch to Codex, for example, that's possible. And then finally, a last cool feature I wanted to showcase is that when you open here a file, you can actually also add comments. And what you then can do is actually tell Omnigent to address these comments. So now we actually showcase already quite a lot of features of Omnigent, but we only scratched the surface. Because we, for example, didn't touch yet how to create custom agents and how to set up that YAML definition, how to host Omnigent and be able to work together with teammates or to trace Omnigent with MLflow. But if you like this video, we can address this in one of the next ones. See you!